Okay. Now the dinim of what's called the order of the night. That's what's called Seder Alayla. So after Ma'ariv, a person has to establish times to learning Torah. Because the pasuk says, V'gisa b'yomim v'layla. You're supposed to learn Torah day and night. So therefore you have to learn during the day and you have to learn at night. Now Ma'ariv, it begins the night. So after Ma'ariv, a person is supposed to establish time to learn Torah a little bit. Now the problem is, if you're going to go home and you're going to eat, then you're going to get to fall asleep. Because in those days people worked manual labor. They were talking worked. And therefore we're making very tired. So it says, we know that if you eat a lot, you fall asleep. So therefore what it says, you should eat a little bit, just to undo your hunger, and then learn a little bit of Torah. And then afterwards you should eat, and then learn Torah again properly. The Gemara says, night was created. Why did Hashem make night? You can't work at night. In those days they didn't have electricity. So night was, after sundown, that was it. So why would the purpose of night? The night was created to learn Torah, especially in the winter, but especially during the summer, even after Chamisha Sibav, the 15th of Av, the days start getting shorter and the nights get longer, so it's time to learn Torah. And he calls it in Kitzur with the famous Gemara. Shlakish says, whoever occupies himself in Torah in this world, which is likened to night, so Hashem will bring him a thread of kindness during the day in the world to come. So a person has to learn Torah day and night. Okay, so now he says like this: a healthy person should not eat a lot at night. This is all medical, but this is Torah. The Rambam says this, the Gemara says it. A person shouldn't eat a lot at night, and it should be a lighter meal at night. In fact, everybody knows in Europe, the main meal was during the day. Lunchtime was the main meal, and then at night they had something light. So he says it makes you healthier, you don't come to impurity, you have better dreams, you don't have too heavily of a sleep, and it's no good. So here's an interesting thing. In Kitzur Shulchan Aruch it says, how much should a person sleep at night? So in Kitzur, he says, a person should sleep 6 hours a night is enough for a healthy person. In Rambam, in Hilchos Deis, brings down a person should sleep 8 hours. There's other opinions that say you should sleep 7 hours. So in halacha it ranges between 6, 7, and 8 hours. Some people sleep 12 hours a night. I mean, that's it's called a bagel, all around the clock. So he says 6 hours is enough, and you shouldn't sleep. There's another thing the Gemara says about in halacha, you shouldn't sleep in a room alone. So it says like that. What does that mean? It has to do, that's a spiritual thing. But it says like this, in Poskim they bring down that if you have a light on in the room, it's no problem. A little light even in the room is not a problem. Other opinions write if you have a kosher mezuzah in the room, it's also not a problem. But generally speaking, there is a din in halacha, a person should not sleep alone in a room, in a house. But again, if you have a mezuzah, you have a little bit of light anywhere in the house, then it's fine. Okay, next thing is like this. Before a person goes to sleep at night, okay, so let me introduce it as follows. There is the lifetime Yom Kippur, right before a person passes away. Okay, that's the ultimate Yom Kippur. Then you have, when somebody gets married, the day of their wedding is Yom Kippur. Then you have the yearly Yom Kippur. Then you have the monthly Yom Kippur. Erev Yom Kippur Katan. Erev Rosh Chodesh is called Yom Kippur Katan. It's called the mini Yom Kippur. Then you have a weekly Yom Kippur, which is Thursday night. I'll explain all these things in a second. And then you have a daily Yom Kippur, is when you go to sleep at night. Now what's the concept of Yom Kippur? Is a day of reckoning, to make a cheshbon. So when a person's about to die after 120 years, so they have to make a reckoning of their entire life. Yom Kippur, you make a reckoning of the year. Erev Rosh Chodesh, it's the last day of the month, you make a reckoning of your behavior during the year. Once a week, Thursday night, the night right before Shabbos, So again, you make a reckoning for the week. What's the daily Yom Kippur? Before a person goes to sleep, it's the end of the day. You have to make a reckoning and a calculation of how the day went. By Chassidim, there was an expression, they used to go like this before bed, and they used to say in Yiddish, Morgen wird sein Gott anders. Tomorrow is going to be way different. Much better. It's going to be a different day tomorrow. So he says, before, in Shulchan Aruch, it says that before a person who fears God, before they go to sleep, should check into their actions. If he finds that he did a sin, he should do tshuva before he goes to sleep and make up his mind not going to do it anymore. And especially flattering and lying and mockery and lashon hara, those a person should also, in fact, we say it in Krishma Lamita. Before Krishma, we make a statement that we forgive everybody that hurt me, embarrassed me, insulted me, ripped me off, whatever it is. So that's a person should do that. It's brought down in Sfarim, interesting. The Baal Shem Tov is what they say. The Baal Shem Tov never went to sleep if he had money in his pockets. He didn't want to have any money, he made sure to give it to tzedakah. He didn't want to go to sleep with any money in his pocket, that he should go to sleep that he has money. Tomorrow Hashem will give him what he needs to do. But it was an interesting story. The Baal Shem Tov is once bringing with his Talmidim, they were called Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov, not Chassidim. Chassidim came later. But the Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov once bringing, it was a Shabbos. The Farbrengen went into Mitzvah Shabbos, and they ran out of mashke. So the Baal Shem Tov in the middle of the Farbrengen told his students, okay, he started Friday Shabbos and it went into Mitzvah Shabbos. So the Baal Shem Tov said to his Talmidim, put your hands in your pockets and take out money, we need to buy mashke. So without hesitation, the Talmidim put their hands into their pockets and took out money, and they were able to buy mashke. So Chassidim say, what was the miracle? Not that the Baal Shem Tov put money, obviously they were all from a Yidden, there was no money in their pockets. They were bringing from Shabbos afternoon. So how did they get money in their pockets? So they say the miracle wasn't the Baal Shem Tov put money in their pockets. That was a miracle, no big deal. The miracle was that when the Baal Shem Tov told the students, put your hands in your pockets and take out money, the students could say, Rebbe, but they were Shabbosdik. I mean, they didn't question. The Baal Shem Tov said, put your hands in your pocket, they put that. That was the miracle, more than the fact that they found money in their pockets. Anyway, so that's it. You have to, because you have to make sure that nobody should be punished because of you, because the Gemara says, any person who's punished because of you, Hashem doesn't enter you into the mechitza of Hashem. And therefore, basically, bottom line is we say in Krishma Lamita that we forgive everybody. And again, when a person does that, then Hashem forgives us. Now, before Krishma, when you do Krishma Lamita, B'chlal der Chassidim, the Krishma Lamita would take them 2-3 hours a night. I'm not exaggerating. They would actually read Krishma every night for 2-3 hours. They didn't sleep too much. But because there was, again, a reckoning of the Yom Kippur, the daily Yom Kippur, they would actually take a very long time to do Shema Lamita. Now, in our Nusach of Krishma Lamita, we say all 3 Parshias. In other Nusach Ashkenaz, they only say the first Parsha of Shema. But it's brought down in halacha that if a person feels that they daven Ma'ariv early, before nightfall, so then when they do Krishma Lamita, they should do all 3 chapters, all 3 paragraphs, because they, maybe they read Shema too early. Okay, then you say the various different psukim in the things. Okay, and then before going to bed, the last thing a person does is they say Hamapil. That's the last thing. Now, it's interesting. Like Nusach Ashkenaz, first you say Hamapil, and then you say Krishma. But in most places, they say first Krishma with all the additional chabdus and tilim and all that. And then they actually say Hamapil is right when you're about to fall asleep. Because after you say Hamapil, you're not supposed to talk, you're not supposed to eat or drink, and you're not supposed to do anything. Because after Hamapil, you're supposed to let's go to sleep.
What if you say without?
Huh?
What if you say without Hashem's name? That halachos.
But then you didn't say a mapel.
Some like Svardim, the Schais, they have it where you say Baruch and then you say Hamat. You don't say Hashem when you came in halacha.
I don't know.
So when do you change into your pajama?
The proper, respectful way of doing it is Krishma, you don't do in your pajamas. Because Krishma, you can imagine Yom Kippur, davening Yom Kippur with your pajamas on. I mean, it's the nightly Yom Kippur, right? So you daven, you say Krishma Almita in your regular clothes, and then you get undressed and put on your pajamas, and then before you're about to fall asleep, you say a map.
You say what?
Hamapil. It's a bracha. What?
But you have to say, it's before Shema, you say, Alamta, you have to say one, Bakashot, and afterward, two of them.
There are different customs of texts of davening. What?
How much earlier can you say Krishna Almita?
How much earlier B'chlal is brought down in many Sfarim that you shouldn't eat or drink after Krishma Lamita. Krishma Lamita really should be said right before somebody is about to go to sleep. Not mamash like a mapel. A mapel is mamash before going to sleep.
What if you had change your mind? You already said that and you decided that you want to do something. What do you do then?
There was once in Tafshin Chav Gimel, there was Chav Dalet Tevis was the 150th year of the Alter Rebbe's passing in 1963. So the 150 years Shnas HaKan. And the Rebbe made a sudden Farbrengen. Those days it was very uncommon for the Rebbe to Farbrengen suddenly during the week. The Rebbe made a Farbrengen during the week. So then it was no Morristown, it was Newark. So everybody got called there. They started coming in from all over the place. But there was one bacher in Newark that already said Hamapel. So it was very chsidish bacher. He's still a chsidish in Gaman. So he didn't, he came, he didn't talk, because he said Hamapel already. He didn't talk, and the trip there, instead of 7, the trip back, he didn't talk, because he said Hamapel already. And so it was brought down, if you slept a little bit, then you can talk a little bit. But ideally, you shouldn't just say Hamapel, you shouldn't talk after Hamapel until you fall asleep. That should be before Hamapel. What? Why do you need to answer the phone? What do you mean important call? If it'll be Shabbos, an important call? Somebody called me last night. It was 11 o'clock our time. He says, I'm calling from Israel, from Ranana. I have a question. I'm in a shul that has a few Chabadniks, a lot of Ashkenazim, Sfardim, a mixture of everybody. It became a whole debate what to do with Rabbeinu Tam's film before Musaf. You know, because those guys were in a rush and the other people wanted to put on Rabbeinu Tam. I don't know how he got my number, I don't know why he called me. You know, because I guess in LA it's only 11 o'clock at night, so it's not a problem. So anyway, he called me the whole issue, what to do with the, should we daven Musaf or not? Anyway, I straightened it out, they told me what to do. But, you know, I told him the Lubavitchers would put on Rabbeinu Tam before Musaf, even if it means not davening with the minyan. Halachically, you're probably supposed to daven Musaf with the minyan and then put on Rabbeinu Tam's tone. But I said, how many Lubavitchers are there? He said, how many guys are there? He said, 3 or 4. I said, come on. So you let everybody daven and you'll daven later. Big deal. It wasn't a King Solomon necessity decision. What? Technically, you could talk, yeah. Okay, Machin is on my